Keto Nana, break the cravings. Hey y'all, Keto Nana here. If you're over 50 and overweight, you have come to the right place. Today I'm going to talk about part 2 of the Cravings episode, and I'll put the link below so you can find that episode if you haven't seen it yet. I am still struggling with my craving for sweetness. I have had, I've gone a week without having any, and then like an addict, I say, oh, I probably am okay. You know, my ketones and blood glucose are looking good. So I have another thing of erythritol in my tea because that seems to be my biggest thing. Or an occasion came up, such as my husband's birthday just happened. And I fall off the wagon, y'all. I have fallen off the wagon again. And so I have been doing some research to understand these cravings because I don't understand why I can go week or two without putting any sweetener in my tea, yet that desire for it is there pretty much constantly. I'm like I'm on the 12-step program or something where it's one day at a time, and I consider, like I'll wake up the next morning and go, yay, I went through a whole day without having any sweetener. I don't understand that. I don't understand the hold that it has on me. I have read, books by Dr. Jason Fung. I have read, Why We're Fat and What to Do About It. And now I'm reading Craving by Dr. Omar Manejwala, because that is really where I'm at. Like, I understand sort of what's going on inside my body, like when you have carbs or you have something sugary, why you crave more of it, because your body uses that and then it wants that easy, that easy food again. And it does psychologically affect you. It hits those, that pleasure center, sort of the same way that heroin or cigarettes or anything else that you're doing. Caffeine can be another thing. So it does, I understand sort of, I guess I understand the concept of why it is, but and I can see, like, if I was a binge eater, and if you are a binge eater, my heart goes out for you. This is very, very tough. This episode is not on binge eating. This is really just understanding cravings. If you are a binge eater, if you have, if you struggle with that, please get, professional help, because you're going to need it. It's, you're going to need sort of like a 12-step program to overcome it. You're going to need a community to surround you and support you. So if you do struggle from, binge eating, please get some help. I assume it's possible to do it on your own, but why do that to yourself? If there's a community out there for you, do your research, find a therapist that's going to work with you and that's really going to be supportive of the keto lifestyle, but also understands food addiction. That's number one. So if you have that, I'm here for you if you need to chat, but do get professional help. I'm not a professional, and having support, having community. And actually, one of the things in Craving that Dr. Manejwala says is having community, having a support community can be really the greatest help. Number one, family, not always supportive. I've talked about that before. Sometimes they actually do try to sabotage you. Coworkers, for sure. I've had that experience too, which is why I don't talk about what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. It's weird as hell that people, you say you're not doing carbs, or you're doing very low carbs, and they freak out. Or you're not, if you don't want the bread, they freak, the hell out. Why is that? I don't understand that. But that's a digression for another day. Today we're going to focus on craving, and another one of the things that Dr. Manejwala says in the book Craving, and I will have the link below, and I'll also post the cover so you can see what it looks like. You can get it on your Kindle. My Kindle book looks like I am studying for, a degree in nutrition, because I have so many books on it. I'm super flippin' fascinated by not just the psychological, the emotional all that stuff, the physiological aspects of what we eat and what it does to us and why we want more or why we can't resist or why it's in our mind all the time. So like I said, this artificial sweetener crap is still driving me bonkers. And so what I've decided to do today is February 5th. I'm going to give myself a 30-day challenge. No sweeteners, artificial, otherwise, healthy or otherwise, affect your blood sugar or otherwise, because obviously they affect me psychologically. Whether or not they move my insulin up or down, my glucose up or down, they affect me psychologically, and I want to get to the root of that. So 30-day challenge, March 5th, and I will post a video on March 5th, because it's going to be hard, y'all. I think the most I've gone is like 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. In the very beginning, it seemed like it was easier. And then once I hit the 1 month mark and then the 2 month mark, and I've just hit the 3 month mark on keto, it seems to me like it's gotten harder and harder. And you would think that it would get easier and easier. But one of the things that Dr. Manejwala mentions is about the things that your mind, the tricks that your mind plays on you. And you kind of know it's an addiction when your mind is doing stuff like this, when it's saying, oh, you've been so good. You've gone a whole month. Clearly, you can handle some in your tea, or you can handle, a mug cake that's sweetened, or any of those other fabulous myriad recipes that are keto friendly, but have sweetener in it, whether it's stevia, erythritol, whatever you're using, monk fruit, I don't care. That little voice in your head saying, it's probably okay. You can do it. You just once stop with, you can have it. 1 cup of tea with some sweetener. What's the harm in that? That little devil in your head that's telling you this, that's like a freaking addiction. And so that is why I am giving myself the 30-day challenge because I cannot apparently just, like if I have, I've mentioned before, if you give a mouse a muffin, I'm the same way. If you give a Nana some erythritol or stevia, she wants more. Not only does she want that, but she wants other things. And so I'm struggling against not having those things when if I don't have stevia or any kind of sweetener, it's really not that hard. So one of the things that you need to do, you cannot consider yourself safe, right? After 1 week or 2 weeks. You can celebrate it in ways that you want to, but you're not over the hump, and you've got to listen to that, you got to pay attention. Is that little voice in your head saying, ooh, Valentine's Day is coming up, so you can probably have blah, blah, blah. Make yourself a nice chocolate treat with, flavored with erythritol. That's healthy and keto friendly. You got to ignore, you've got to listen to that voice and go, no, it's not going to happen. So March 5th, we're going to go 30 days. Actually, February is a short month, so it's not really 30 days. Sorry. We're just going to call it a month. And I'm also changing my habits because since it's sort of like smoking, when my father-in-law tried to quit smoking, I was giving him fabulous advice, which I think is ironic because I really need to take my own advice. I was like, you need to switch your habits. If your first thing, if your first cigarette in the morning was on the deck with a cup of coffee, well, you need to go in the backyard and have a cup of tea or something, or you need to change it up. You need to change your habits, right? It's easier to get rid of a habit if you replace it with a habit. I do know that, intrinsically. It's just doing it. So what I've decided to do is to give up black tea, which I like to have sweetened and with cream, and I'm only going to have herbal tea or coffee because oddly enough, even though I'm not really a coffee drinker, I love the smell of coffee. When the times that I've had coffee, I've never had it sweetened, never liked it sweetened. I can either have it black or with some creamer. I've never wanted coffee with sweetener. So I'm going to have coffee in the morning because it'll give me that caffeine boost. And then herbal tea, and I'm going to go shopping, get some wide variety, but right now my absolute love is lemon ginger. I'm going to stay away from the black teas. I'm going to put them under the cabinet so I can't even see them, not be tempted by them. And we're going to go 30 days. We're going to change this habit, and we're going to, as I go through it, I'm going to be digging deeper into what is craving, why is this so persistent? Because I'm not craving, it's not like I really want cake or cookies or anything, even though, as I've mentioned before, cookies are my, Achilles heel. I want something sweet. So I know, like, that's, a taste that we are born with craving, because breast milk is very sweet and it's meant for our survival. So I need to understand greater what's going on with these cravings. And so I'm going to, do more reading. I'm going to finish the Craving book. I'm about 2/3 through it, and we've just reached the point where he's explaining things you can do. So, like, one of the things you can do is, you have to change your habits. You have to change whatever it is. Case in point, when he's talking about a person who has, like, an addiction to donuts. This person's head said, they told themselves that I can still go to Dunkin' Donuts and get my coffee and I won't be tempted by the donuts. Which is, anyone else hearing that would go, that's not a good idea. Go somewhere else. Make your coffee at home. But you can tell yourself these lies, right? Like, I tell myself this lie. It's like, oh, a little erythritol is not going to, but I want more. And I want other things, and it's craving other things. And so I'm having to fight those cravings for bread and, things that aren't really actually sweet, but that I want. And so I'm making this whole lifestyle change harder on myself. So this person, so for maybe 2 weeks, they go to Dunkin' Donuts every morning, they get their coffee, and they avoid the donuts. What happens on day 15 when they've had a bad morning? Their willpower's a little lower, and for some reason, maybe they're offering the pumpkin spice donuts, which actually was something I would like to have, and they cave. And just like that, they've gone off the wagon. Same with me. I go 2 weeks. Everything's great. That little voice in my head says, you know what? It would be awesome, absolutely flippin' awesome to have a cup of sweetened tea. Let's do it. I do it, and then I'm struggling with cravings for the rest of the day and trying to figure out why. Why am I on the websites looking at all these, recipes and thinking, ooh, what's the next holiday that's coming up so I can make something? That's it. Psychologically, it started a craving. What, regardless of what it's done to my blood sugar or my ketones, I don't give a shit. What I am worried about is the cravings and making this harder on myself. So, long story short, not really short, it's a pretty long story. 30-day challenge, no sweetener of any sort. And we're going to go from there, March 5th. So until the next time, please be kind to yourself and others. This is, a journey begins with a single step. It's not always going to be direct. There's going to be little hiccups along the way. I feel like I'm having a lot of hiccups. And it could just be because I'm over 50 and my body has a lot of years of, doing the wrong thing and craving and giving into the cravings and yo-yo dieting. So please be kind to yourself. And until next time, keto on. Hey y'all, Keto Nana again here.